Welcome to Arirang Live. It's after 2 p.m. here in Seoul, and I'm Kim Dami. In just a minute, we're going to cross over to the latest briefing from the Central Disease Control Headquarters on the COVID-19 outbreak. This is the second and last briefing of the day. According to the first briefing in the morning, South Korea has confirmed 30 new cases on Saturday morning, which brings the total number of confirmed cases to 10,480. With 3 additional deaths, the death toll has now reached 211. The briefing is about to begin, so let's take a listen.
Let us now begin our regular briefing for April 11th, Saturday. The total number of confirmed cases stands at 10,480. This includes 886 people who have been reported as the imported cases, and of them, 91.8% are Korean nationals. And of the total, 69.1% or 7,243 have been discharged following full recovery. We had 30 more new cases yesterday, and 126 more people have been discharged. Unfortunately, we had 3 more fatalities. And here is the regional breakdown of the confirmed cases. Aside from the imported cases, when looking at the community transmission, we had 18 new cases. And aside from 4 cities and municipalities, there were no reported cases in the rest of the municipalities. And nationwide, 81.7% were related to cluster infections. And recently, the latest sources of the infections for the past 2 weeks was 56.5% were related to the imported cases, and around the nursing hospitals, the infections were about 30%. So we had a total of 12 imported cases yesterday, and they were from 8 from the US, 3 from Europe, and 1 from others. And there were 10 people who were Korean nationals. And by municipalities, let us look at the major the outbreaks. At Daegu, we had the second Miju hospital, and we carried out the epidemiological investigation and testing. And we had 4 new cases, and the total now stands at 190 for this specific hospital. And for Gyeonggi-do Province, the Uijeongbu St. Mary's Hospital, we had 7 more people who had tested positive, and we have a total of 59 people as for this hospital. And in Gyeongbuk Yecheon, as we were doing the testings, there were 3 more cases, and there is a total of 8 confirmed cases so far. And the KCDC currently conducted testings for about over 510,000 so far. And looking at this total, this is 1 out of every 100 public citizens of South Korea have been tested for the coronavirus. And we need to exert more effort to identify those who are silently transmitting the disease. And for all of the municipalities, we urge you to have the testings if you find anyone who has suspicious symptoms of the virus. And all of these testings, if they have symptoms, would be under the coverage of the National Health Insurance. And the KCDC, as it is the weekend from today, we would like to urge the fact that we are intensifying our social distancing campaign until the 19th of April. We ask for the public's participation. As well, we also would also have some advices for those people who are going to the general elections early votings. We ask all of you to abide by the quarantine measures. And some of the call for actions we would like to highlight as follows. please do refrain from bringing your kids who are young, especially to the polling stations. And please do wear your masks when you're visiting the polling stations, and wash your hands with soap thoroughly before going and after returning. And please wear the gloves and masks when you visit, and keep a distance of at least 1 meter between yourself and others. And after you return home from the polling stations, wash your hands with soap thoroughly for at least 30 seconds with running water. And we also have a few notices by the KCDC, and we have been marking the third weekend as we started the enhanced social distancing campaign. This is a very important time for the fighting for the COVID-19. And as a quarantine authority, I would believe that all of the world has its eyes on the South Korean people. And we are nearing the end of the third week of the enhanced social distancing campaign, and we have seen a decrease in the number of newly confirmed cases, which were possible due to the participation of the social distancing campaign for the first and second weeks. And right now is actually more essential in decreasing the number of the confirmed cases. And we believe that walking down the hill is actually more difficult and more dangerous. And the Director General of the WHO has also warned of a possible second wave of the infections, which can lead to another surge in the number of outbreaks. And furthermore, many of the municipalities here in Korea have reported no community transmissions. But if you interpret this in another aspect, we could also be having some of the cases which have not yet been identified. So we ask the municipalities to have thorough screening and testings. And as you remember, we saw a surge in the outbreak in Daegu, especially centering around the Shincheonji Church of Jesus. And this lesson gives us the fact that these infections could occur again at unexpected places very, very silently. So we urge this multiple times, but the world before the COVID-19 would not be returning back anytime soon. We are living in another different world, and thus we need to protect ourselves with precautionary measures and quarantine measures. And every one of you have participated in the social distancing campaign, and we were able to flatten the curve here in South Korea. And going forward, we will conduct future R&D and the infrastructure building by injecting a lot of budget that we have to these research, and we will also be readying ourselves to fight for COVID-19 going forward. Going abroad, I think the global community is watching the Korean society, which is having its elections and which is trying to return to our ordinary daily lives. And we believe that this could be a great opportunity for us to contribute greatly to the global health and welfare scheme. And we would like to urge and highlight that your actions and your behaviors is not only important for yourselves, your families, as well as our nation, but also you are doing a big role for the global community as well. So the KCDC will also exhort our efforts to provide scientific evidences to fight the COVID-19, and we will also spare no efforts in combating the virus. Thank you very much.
There you have it. And as a wrap-up from the briefing, South Korea has confirmed 30 new cases on Saturday, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 10,480. With 3 additional deaths, the death toll has now reached 211. As mentioned earlier, the government is providing official briefings twice a day. Tomorrow morning, we'll bring you the next one live at 11 a.m. Korea time. That's it from the News Center for now, but we'll be back in our 6 p.m. regular newscast. Bye for now.